قل لي في الإسلام قولا لا أسأل عنه أحدا غيرك قال قل آمنت بالله ثم استقم.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Ustadh.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So we've been having a look through your Twitter account, and we want to talk about a thread that you've pinned. You know which thread this is?
Bismillah. Scholars.
Bismillah. I'll read it for you, and inshallah we can go through it. Inshallah, what we want you to do is to talk about some of these scholars, whatever comes to mind, inshallah. And you've tweeted here on the 17th of June 2021, so almost
4 years.
Almost 4 years now, and a few months before 4 years. I've noticed that every 2 to 3 years there's a new group of shabab that are interested in seeking knowledge and taking from the scholars. But many of them are not acquainted with them. So here is a short thread of some of the scholars alive today and who we can take from.
The goal with the thread came from many people not knowing who the scholars are. And so the condition that I wanted to put in for the names that I was going to put were scholars that were, number one, alive, and number two, scholars that were teaching. Because the goal is that you know about them and you can go into their lessons and benefit from them. So these are the two conditions that I kept in mind for the names that I mentioned.
I haven't scrolled down to the bottom yet, but are you still continuing this till today?
We can still continue, yeah. I've added here and there, every so often I add some. There's still a lot more to add, but inshallah.
You remember that day, 17th of June? Do you remember anything about that day when you tweeted this? You remember what you were thinking when you tweeted it? You basically told us already what you were thinking and the idea behind it.
It came actually as some khair came out from it. I was talking to somebody, and then subhanAllah, they were speaking ill of the scholars or rejecting the scholars or something like this. So then I thought, subhanAllah, is this how the shabab are today? So I thought, let me make this to make it easier for people to have ma'rifah, awareness of who the scholars are so they can benefit from them. So some khair came out from something that was bad.
SubhanAllah. Jazakallah khairan. So we'll begin with the first one, Shaykh Saleh Al-Fawzan. You've actually made a typo on this as well. You've forgot the Z. Yes, you've typed, if anyone see Shaykh Saleh Al-Fawzan.
I only saw it like years later. Actually.
Yeah, subhanAllah. Shaykh
Saleh Al-Fawzan, Allah yahfadhu wa yubarik fih, is from the great scholars that are alive today. He lives in Riyadh, in the capital city of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He's been teaching for many years. His speciality is in Aqidah, and he's taught many Aqidah books. And he's got fiqh as well. His master's was in inheritance, fara'id. His master's or PhD, I can't remember now. He was one of the first students to do the higher studies in Imam Saud, masters. What else did I mention?
I have to test you, see if you remember. So you've got it right. Yes, he was one of the first to do masters in Imam Saud University. You mentioned here where he works. I don't know if he still works there at the moment.
Dar al-Ifta. I believe he still works there, but I'm not sure if he comes to office all the time or whatnot. Sadly, after COVID, and when I did this, it was still like the impacts of COVID was still very active. Things didn't go back to normal. So the Sheikh started teaching again, but it was not in the masjid. It wasn't public. It was, let's say, in a home setting or an office setting, and it was being recorded live, and then it was putting out. I think now he's reached the age of he's not teaching anymore at all. He's past 90s. So may Allah Azza wa Jal accept from him all of his good work and all the khair that he's given to the ummah, from question answers, from books that he's authored, from the likes.
Is there something that comes to mind if I was to ask you what benefit can you think of that came from, that you benefited from?
Shaykh Fawzan, a lot of benefits. You know, as soon as I came to Medina, the first one, we met a lot of mashayikh, but in the first month, Shaykh Fawzan was scheduled to come to Medina for 3 days to give talks in the main hall for the university students. And I was there for all of it. Some was only specifically for master students. I was a fresh student. I was like, I've been hearing about Shaykh Fawzan in the UK how many years? You think the title Masters Only is going to stop me from coming? I attended. And then a few weeks later, we traveled to Riyadh to him to benefit from the scholars there and to get some books. And we went to Dar al-Ifta where he works at. So we went, gave him salam. And we had a funny incident. We were like 9 brothers. We all went in one time. And the Shaykh said, all of you have one question? We said, no, we have different questions. He says, khalas, step outside and come in one by one. The Shaykh is known for being very direct. He's Jazakallah khair, barakallah fi.
Jazakallah khair. So we'll move on to the next one. And this was on the same day. For number 2, we've got Shaykh Abdul-Muhsin Al-Abbad.
Shaykh Abdul-Muhsin Al-Abbad, Muhaddith al-Madinah, the teacher of the teachers. He's the first lecturer in the Islamic University of Medina. The first lecturer in the Islamic University of Medina when it opened. That is a great honor. And later on, he became a principal of the university as well. He grew up in an area not far from Riyadh, up north. Then he moved to Medina for work, and he stayed there ever since. And his son, Shaykh Abdul-Razzaq, and his grandson, all of them are people of ilm, knowledge, and khair. He taught 6 days a week. Bukhari, he finished it. Muslim, he finished it. Sunan, Abi Dawood, Jami' al-Tirmidhi, Sunan ibn Majah, Sunan Nasa'i, all of the 6 main books of hadith, and Muwatta Malik, all of it he's finished it. Bulugh al-Maram, Suyuti, the Alfiyah of Suyuti, and other books over 30, 40 years or more that he was teaching in Masjid al-Nabawi. Shaykh Muqbil studied under him. Shaykh Muqbil died in the year 2000 roughly. His students studied under him. His students studied under him. Grandkids studied with the Shaykh, and their great-grandfathers studied with the Shaykh. So the Shaykh is the Shaykh of Mashayikh. Most of our teachers that taught us, they all studied under Shaykh Abdul-Muhsin Al-Abbad. May Allah Azza wa Jal give him a long life. He stopped teaching not long ago, maybe 2 years ago, a year after the tweet or 2 after the tweet. He stopped teaching officially in the university, and he tried to continue teaching after COVID in Masjid al-Nabawi, but that long break in the holidays or the COVID break perhaps affected his health in terms of not being able to go 6 days a week, and he stopped teaching. But he's still alive, he's still well, you can still pray in his masjid, you can still see him, and you can still give him salam and ask him questions. And in terms of his aql, he's there. I went to him not long ago and I asked him a question, and the Shaykh is posing questions back, saying, okay, what about this? For what reason? What's this? What? So he's there. So if you have questions, you can still benefit from the Shaykh in the question and answers. In the short walk from his masjid to the house, he prays all the salah in his local masjid.
Do you remember, or do you know when you put in a tweet? So I'm going to ask you the question. You mentioned that he was the first teacher to teach in Jamia Islamiyya in Medina. Remember what year that was? When that opened, maybe?
1960.
1961.
1961, yeah. 1961.
And who was a principal before him of the university?
Shaykh Muhammad Ibrahim, Shaykh bin Baz. I don't know, was he the third?
He was after, yeah, he was the third. So you put here, he became the principal of the uni after Ibn Baz.
Yeah, after. I'm not sure if it was directly after. I'm not sure.
No problem. Okay. So we're going to go on to number 3 now, inshallah. And you can probably guess who number 3 will be. 100% you can.
Shaykh Abdul-Razzaq. Yeah, Shaykh Abdul-Razzaq.
So we've got, so we'll just say the Shaykh's name, Shaykh Abdul-Razzaq Al-Badr, and he's
Shaykh Abdul-Razzaq Al-Badr. He's referred to Shaykh Abdul-Razzaq Al-Badr, but he's the son of Shaykh Abdul-Muhsin. So Shaykh Abdul-Razzaq ibn Abdul-Muhsin Al-Abbad Al-Badr, or Badr Al-Abbad. But he's referred to as Shaykh Abdul-Razzaq Al-Badr. Shaykh Abdul-Razzaq Al-Badr is from the sons of Shaykh Abdul-Muhsin, as you've heard, and he is upon the way of his father in terms of knowledge, in terms of khuluq, in terms of consistency. Just like his father, he teaches 6 days a week. And from his great mannerisms is, if you go to the local masjid and his father is there and the son is there, if you try to ask the son any questions, then he will not accept. Even if father goes into the house, he will say, nope, I do not answer any questions in the presence of my father. Okay, your father's gone into the house. He says, nope, you should have asked him. And that is from his mannerisms. Likewise, he wouldn't teach after Salat al-Maghrib out of respect for his father. So he only used to teach after Fajr. And when I first came to Medina, he used to teach after Asr as well. But then he stopped that lesson and he used to teach after Fajr. Now that his father has stopped teaching after Maghrib, he started his lessons after Maghrib as well. So he's got lessons every day after Fajr and after Maghrib. Every single day, 6 days a week, except for Yawm al-Jum'ah. And one of the sessions, I think the Maghrib sessions, Saturdays, he's off as well. But this is Shaykh Abdul-Razzaq Al-Badr. He got PhD. He's a great Shaykh in Aqidah, in Fiqh, in Hadith, in Tazkiyat al-Nafs. He's like a doctor of the heart. He's like the Ibn Qayyim of our times, living amongst us. May Allah Azza wa Jal give him a long life. And he is a true example in acting upon knowledge. In any small affair, major affair, you will find him doing it. We attended the janazah of a brother called Zishan, Allah yarhamhu, from the students in Medina. And he passed away. And the Shaykh, he used to attend the Shaykh's lessons. So the Shaykh cancelled the lesson for him. And he told all the students to attend. And he looked after the father of the brother when the father came to the country for the janazah. He looked after him, he held his hand. I was at the janazah and I came to the grave before the Shaykh. The Shaykh came rushing and he said, make space for the father of the brother that has passed away. And so we all made space and he brought him in. And he personally went into the grave. He put his shimar, covered it around his face, and he personally went into the grave and he put the body in with the father, helped him out, took him out. And seeing that sight was something different. It's different sitting with a Shaykh by his feet on the floor, learning from the book, but then seeing the Shaykh in action. Ni'ma Shaykh. So I advise everyone that can benefit from him in Medina, or if they're traveling to Umrah or Hajj and they go to Medina, that they do not miss out on his lessons and the benefits that are in his lessons.
I seen on Twitter from one of the brothers' pages, Self-Guidance, Allah for the brother. He posted yesterday, very similar to what you just mentioned. And are you familiar with the video I'm talking about, where another brother was getting buried, another janazah? And the video is, you should find on the brother's Twitter page, is the Shaykh, subhanAllah, is carrying the body of the brother who passed away. One of his students passed away.
So the front.
Yeah.
And this is Mecca, by the way.
He
travelled to Mecca,
subhanAllah, to
be at the janazah of another brother from Urdun, from Jordan, that passed away. And he attended, and he's at the front of carrying the body in Mecca. So he travelled from Medina to Mecca. Look at the wafa, the loyalty and the consistency of the Shaykh. May Allah Azza wa Jal keep him steadfast and allow us to benefit from his mannerisms.
Allahumma ameen.
One time, when I was in Medina, I was with my child and my only son at that time. And we, you know how you have Masjid Nabawi when you come out, you have the toilets and you got the escalators that goes down. We were already down the escalators. And I was waiting for someone that was with me, and Shaykh Abdul-Razzaq, there was loads of students following him. So they came down the escalator and I was holding my son. He walked past us and he turned around and he told the students, 1 second, to the students, let me give salam to the Shaykh. And so he comes, he goes to my son, Salaam alaikum. And he pats him on the head and he gives him salam. He continues walking. Look at the khuluq. He stopped this whole entourage that's walking with him to give salam to a child. That is khuluq azim, which reminds you of the khuluq of the Prophet ﷺ. If he saw children, then he would give them salam and he would pat their heads, and the likes that which has been mentioned of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
To ask you the same question I asked you before, you've already mentioned how much you benefited from him. Is there anything that comes to mind?
That's enough, I think.
That's enough.
That's we mentioned extra.
Okay, we'll go to number 4, inshallah. And this was all on the same day. All of it is on the same day. Shaykh Ali Nasir Al-Faqihi.
Shaykh Ali Nasir Al-Faqihi, Allah yarhamhu, he passed away recently. Allah yarhamhu wa yaghfir lahu wa askanahu fasiha jannatihi. He was one of the first scholars that we officially studied with books. The first book that we finished with in Medina was the Shaykh Ali Nasir Al-Faqihi. And we were studying a book called the 40 Hadith of Imam al-Nawawi with the explanation of Shaykh Saleh Al-Fawzan. And Shaykh Saleh Al-Fawzan, Shaykh Ali Nasir, they're similar in age. But Shaykh Ali Nasir was very mutawadi', humble. And he saw this book being beneficial for the students. So he taught the book of Shaykh Saleh Al-Fawzan to us in these majalis, and we finished it in 1 year. And when Shaykh Fawzan would visit, Shaykh Ali Nasir would be at the forefront of the people, greeting him, welcoming him when he comes to the city. may Allah Azza wa Jal have mercy upon him, used to teach once or twice every week. Between adhan and iqamah, he would allow the students to ask questions, and he was known to be very direct as well. So you benefit from him not wasting time, and to prepare your question beforehand, and the likes of these affairs that you benefit from the scholars. May Allah have mercy upon him.
Do you prefer the ulama to be direct?
You need both. You need both. You need that mix. You need, for some people, they need direct. So we have, for example, a person that is almost, if you like, borderline annoying, but they don't realize it from the way that they're asking, from the way that they've been persistent, and it's not something that deserves that. And so if the sheikh is too nice in that, when will they learn? They will continue this to another sheikh, to another sheikh, to another sheikh. And so some harshness, directness, in order for them to stop and maybe change their approach, that's the benefit. And you get that sometimes. For example, one time there was a sheikh, he used to answer questions whilst walking, but he stopped. But I remember the old times when we were allowed to ask questions when walking. The sheikh doesn't want to do it anymore. He saw for a maslaha that not to answer questions whilst he's walking. And this is mentioned in the books of mannerisms of the student of knowledge. It's mentioned there not to ask whilst the sheikh is busy or walking. So I went and asked the sheikh, finished my question. The sheikh completely aired me. And I'm looking. He clearly heard me. Khalas, take the L, take the lesson, don't do it again. Khalas, I'm not going to ask him a question again when I'm walking. Doesn't mean I'm going to abandon the sheikh or not benefit from him, because that's my loss now. I need the knowledge that the sheikh carries. And they mention this in the books of seeking knowledge and the mannerisms of seeking knowledge. As-sabru ala jafa'i shaykh, being patient upon the harshness, maybe the coldness of a teacher, because you're in need of the knowledge of the teacher.
I think that applies also to some students who, when they have a difficult encounter with the sheikh, and then they respond by saying, "Oh, I'm not going to study from the sheikh anymore. The sheikh was rude to me."
No.
Or some could even say, someone could say, "The sheikh aired me. He didn't answer my question.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to ask the sheikh a question again."
Yeah. Look, you have to understand, ulama are human beings at the end of the day. Sometimes the directness is for your benefit and they are actually doing on purpose. Like this, I believe it was to the lesson. But sometimes maybe, sadly, there might be some that their mannerisms are not the best. They have some jafat, some dryness. Why? Maybe they're from the bawadi. They're not used to the city life. They were farmers, or the likes, which they're known to have some jafat, some harshness. We have the story of al-A'mash, or other than them, that he was known to be like this, harsh. And so one day someone, and Shu'bah was harsh as well. So one day someone said, "I will not take hadith from you." He said, "Then that is your problem. That is, then you're being silly because you're losing out on the knowledge I have. You're going to leave off the knowledge that I have because of my bad mannerisms? It's only your loss." So this was known from the time of the Salaf, ila yawmina hada, that some scholars, that they're human beings, their mannerisms might not be the best. But you have to be patient in order to seek knowledge from them that they carry and continue to the next one.
جزاك الله خير.
وياك.
بارك الله فيك.
We'll stop there.
إن شاء الله we'll stop there.
خلاص إلى اللقاء الثاني.
إن شاء الله.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.